enjoy your fun fall weather, and let's watch some guys ruining their marriages. Hey, Mids Watch, it's Ryan. Good to see you guys again. You're in episode like 50 something by now. I don't even know. It's a great field report here. It's about covert contracts among the women in your life. I know most of the time we like to keep things focused on guys, but as a pure problem-solving thing, you kind of need to know when other people have covert contracts, how do you do that? When you talk about leadership or captaining the ship or all that relationship stuff, this is kind of one of the great examples. Guys actually stuck around for a bit too. So this is a little bit different in that the guy was putting in work. He was doing more than one field report. He didn't just do a one and done leave. Thank you very much. I'm not going to do anything and ruin my life. So as it starts here, after a pretty good first week and a half, it seems that a Chernobyl style shit test is underway. And here's a little context. I don't care about the context. I don't know what it is with field reports is that everybody loves to give you the full Lord of the Rings 12-hour summary of everything that happened to their life, up to and including the point where they screwed up, and then run out of steam and then give you very scant details in the actual screw up, assuming that you're going to look at all these things going, okay, in this position, I would have done the exact same thing as him, so this screw up's not his fault. I'm here to tell you, I don't care whose fault it is, and stop giving us all these superfluous details. Anyways, he's like talking about how his schedule sucked. He wakes up cranky, blah, blah, blah. And he wanted to enroll the kid into preschool during the day. So the wife initially agreed, then changed her mind following a Monday when it was time to sign up. I said, I'm okay with that decision, but I'm only coming home early under the certain circumstances. Again, remember the ultimatums? That's what he's doing. I'll do what you want, but you need to do it my way. It's like this very weird coping thing where it's kind of like you admit you're going to buckle. Yesterday she gives the silent treatment. He comes home, normal time. He doesn't react, does his projects around the house, whistle happily a lot, play with his daughter. And today he comes home to a melting down wife and daughter. Sends his wife up to her room so she can collect herself while he calms the daughter down. Took about a minute, but that's beside the point. She continues the silent treatment. So once we put our daughter down for the night, I make a blunder and went to my wife and gave her a comforting hug. At that point, she accused me of not caring, blah, blah, blah. You know how hard it is for me to work and watch her? Works from home, by the way. I lost a little frame and professed that I cared, but recovered as best I could and told her firmly that if she chooses to keep her half in day, she has to take responsibility for the repercussions of her decisions. She gave a snippy fine, and he left to start his whistling. I really hope he's not actually whistling. Advice from here out? Just match her radio silence until she breaks it, or what? He gives an update too, where he talks about compromising and conversation. And eventually she accepts his compromise with a snippy, it's the best I can get, I guess. And then she starts crying. And I'm just like, oh, jeez. So he comes, the girl starts having the meltdown, calling herself a bad mother, enrolling in day school, gonna resent you forever if I do it. He smiles and is like, it's the right decision. It makes you a good mother and you're fine. If you remember the first one where I talked about covert contracts among women, it's that idea if they sacrifice everything to be a good mother, that everybody in their life will worship them. Doesn't really work out that way. In fact, it works horribly. But that's the problem, is the covert contract is that she's lighting herself on fire to keep everybody else warm, and she expects validation from it. When she doesn't get it, that's how a lot of brand new moms get absolutely horrid. And failing this test of leadership long enough, you end up in a situation where she decides to leave you when the kid's 5. Because it's basically like you let her spiral too long. Now, here's the part that I like on this one. So he did the negotiation. She does whatever. He comes back to a new woman. She's cooking one of his meals, wearing some tight outfit, shows off her shape. We eat dinner, put the daughter to bed, and then it's angry sex time. I went way beyond what I thought was the limit verbally and physically, and she just ate it up. Even when she was complaining it was hurting, she was desperate for more. Thank you for the red pill and helping me understand my wife's psyche. Dude. So unfortunately, and this is Jack 10 chiming in as per usual, unfortunately there is a bad covert contract going on here. You made it clear to your wife that you weren't going to be able to come home early. Externally, she said it was fine. Internally, she was hamstering. He won't do that because he knows I need his help in the afternoon. So you did what you said, and she's upset that you didn't hold up your end of the covert contract, which is, of course, ridiculous. She even recognizes it to some extent, and she knows there's consequences to this arrangement, and she's not happy about it. She made her bed. You told her she has to lie in it. It's easier to be mad at you than to be mad at herself for making a bad decision. And this is me here. This is not a woman-only thing. Everybody does this. This is a human thing. This is when we say about checking your ego. It's very easy to look at women and call women bad, and she's a bitch, and oh, I hate this chick, and why are all women like that? Than it is to look and see what stupid thing you've done that's caused these bad outcomes. And naturally, for everybody, they do it. It's projections, perception. I'm sure you've heard the term before. The easy way to get around that is to realize like you ain't shit, and that's okay. So my suggestion is match your radio silence. She may let go of the resentment. Chances are, though, you'll learn to deal with some silent treatment, and then she'll blow up at something unrelated. And you'll ask, are the leftovers in the fridge? And she won't respond, and you'll open the fridge and you'll scream, why do you think this kitchen is a restaurant? Even though all you've done is grab a place of leftovers. And this is where you say, we know this isn't about the leftovers. It's because you're struggling with the situation. And that's why I suggested blah, 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 and kind of like walking her through, basically exposing the covert contract for everything, right? Now expect some hamstering. If you guys don't know what a hamster is, by the way, it's an old red pill term where the idea is the hamster keeps spinning on a wheel but not going anywhere. It's a concept to describe when women just start spiraling. They start freaking out, getting mad over everything that has nothing to do with what actually makes them mad. And then it just goes nowhere. You can talk and talk and talk and yell and scream and nothing ever gets resolved. So it's a hamster spinning on the wheel. Learn it so you can forget it and start enjoying it. Respond, he's like, okay, say it's hard, but your job's important too. It just seems like you don't like supporting me, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, cut all that shit off. No more covert contracts. If she needs your help, she has to act. You want her to say something explicit, like, if you need my help, you ask for it. If I give you a solution and you don't like it, either go do it your way, accept my solution, or get over it. Then tell her, put the kids to bed. You're going to run an errand, and you have an idea how you can help. Go knock out something, bring up a treat like sliced mangoes or something, come back, sit down, share your treat, and then tell her you come home early Tuesday and Thursday, but the kid goes to preschool starting next session. She'll be relieved, and when you tell her these sliced mangoes are tasty, but they even be tastier and blah, 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 and that's where he kind of leads into the sexual thing. Now, some people will say this compromise is not alpha or red pill, which it's not alpha for sure, but that's not the point. You're trying to solve a problem here. You're not trying to sprinkle alpha on your life. Because if you think sexual desire is how you stop a new mom from spiraling, I don't know what to tell you other than you're in for a world of hurt. A world of hurt. Anyways, my interpretation, though, is your wife basically bit off more than she can chew. And while it's shitty that she's just not admitting that she needs help, I don't think the correct response is tough, deal with it. If she's overwhelmed with the kid, I think the problem is that it should be solved. So if she does need your help in solving the problem, you need to make it clear in these situations you need to ask for it. And you need to make it clear that when she does do it, you can take command, solve the problems, and then smash all in one evening. He's basically describing what the guy already did. So here's, again, this one, it's like 6 years ago, but there's some refinement that's kind of been needed in the meantime. The negotiation doesn't work. This is actually the captain first officer model, which we talk about a lot, me included. Rollo's got an article on it. It's called Mutiny. You can check it out if you want to. Ultimate CAD had a better solution, which he calls Father Knows Best. And it's the idea that right here, you're dealing with an emotional child. Her hormones are running. She's emotional. She's too proud to admit she needs help. She's too proud to admit that her idea is not perfect. She's so worried about being a good mom to some fictional crowd of judges that she absolutely refuses to do anything right, because that would require admitting she was wrong. You think guys have a hard time doing that? Like, girls have a hard time doing that. So in this situation, you got two concepts. The captain first officer is like treating her. You ever see those kids in the grocery store that are just yelling at mom to buy a candy bar and nagging her and that, and mom's like negotiating with them, and the kid gives zero fucks? That's the one scenario, and that's what he was doing here, and that's what Jack was doing with the buy some mangoes, go run an errand, tell her this, that, and the other thing, and it doesn't work. All it does is it wastes a ton of time. The second one's Father Knows Best. Just do it. Sign the kid up for daycare. Let her bitch, let her moan, let her be silent. Like, you can be silent, you can get smashed, when it's sex, you can do whatever you want, but this is going to happen. And so you need to come to terms with it because you clearly cannot handle it. It serves the same purpose where it breaks out covert contracts. It leads, but it doesn't assume that your wife or mother of your children is an equal partner, because that just doesn't work. You're asking somebody who's super emotional to start having a logistical problem with you, and it's not going to work. She's too far in. At this point, you're just coming in to fix it. Now, we don't have a solid red-pilled strategy yet on how to address this for future situations that come up. I mean, a lot of people who have one kid have 2 or 3 or 5. Who knows? Maybe you're Mormon. I don't know. The 2 things that have been tried so far, and like I said, I don't have enough data yet to know which one is better and which one is worse. The first one is shame. Shame works. Basically, you've let down the family. What the hell are you doing? I can come in and fix this. You need to do better. I'm here on your side. It's basically you do a lot of shaming, saying all of her decisions basically made her worst case scenario come true, and you have a solution. You can make things better, but she needs to stop thinking the way she was thinking and trust you more. Now, obviously, that comes with the caveat that you have to have your shit on lock. If you're, piece of shit husband, and a lot of them are, it's not going to work. But this is where all of that work we talked about comes in before. Make sure you're lifting, you have good boundaries, no covert contracts, no nice guy behavior, be attractive, don't be unattractive, have your alpha or sexual attractiveness in check, have enough comfort stuff if she starts spiraling about losing you as a husband. Once all that stuff is in place, and I can hear the MGTOWs in the background going, oh, that's so much work, I'd rather just be single. And you're like, you're gonna need this stuff. It's just adulting. It's adulting with a splash of red pill in it. So don't assume you're going to be able to not do this stuff unless you're a neat with a sex doll in your house, in which case I got nothing for you. And why are you even here? Once all that stuff is together, this is where this stuff happens, where you can start commanding respect, laying down the law, putting your foot down, stuff like this. It comes at a long road. Now, this guy didn't even start this stuff till the kid was born and the wife started spiraling. But luckily, in these situations where you got a wife that's spiraling like that she's over her head and she's so worried about things, but she basically can't handle it, is she is dying to pass off the reins. So you get a bit of a pass, at least at first. So knock out some easy wins. In this case, the stuff he did there, with the walking her off the ledge, sorting out the kids, tell the wife, get out of here, I got this, sort it out, and sort it out quickly and easily. Don't forget. Law of power. I can't remember the law of power, but make it seem effortless. So in this case, it's the mom freaking out, the kid freaking out back at the mom, everybody's screaming and yelling at each other. He's like, all right, you go to your room, you go to your room. He basically sorts it out in a minute. It looks effortless. It's stuff like that that helps you get that perceived authority that you need to exemplify soft power, which is, this is going to happen this way, it's going to solve your problems, and you need to be quiet about it. And if you're going to do the silent treatment, go ahead. But if that's the case, I'm going to go play my guitar in the den. You know what I mean? The one good thing, though, he talks about is breaking open the covert contracts. So if you get this covert contract, and if you're good enough at spotting them in your own life, I guarantee you're good at spotting them in other people's lives. What you'll do is every time you see the wife using or the girlfriend, or long-term, anybody who's not a plate, essentially, and you see them having these covert contracts, is you expose them right away. I know you think that by doing this, you're going to get this. I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen that way. If you want this, then do this. Does that sound familiar as a format, by the way? It should. It's because it's basically a red-pilled format. If you want this, do this. I think I've told you it a million times in 500 different videos, but it's like, red pill is not about categorical imperatives. You're not trying to be a good man. You're not trying to make her a good woman. It's not about high-value men or high-value women. It's if, then. If you want this, then do this. That's why Jack throws that line. I know it's not very alpha of me to say, but it doesn't have to be. Who cares? Alpha is a tool. If you're screwing in if you're tightening a lug nut, you're not going to need a screwdriver, What's the point of that? Well, screwdrivers are more alpha. Well, who cares? Do you want to solve this, or do you want to look like a tough guy during the divorce hearing? I don't know what to tell you. But that's good. You break out their covert contracts by flat out saying, what you're doing, assuming this makes you a good person, will not achieve what you're trying to achieve. And don't word it artistically like this. I'm saying word it in your own words, and less the better. It's not a negotiation. You're not negotiating desire. You're logistically solving the problem and leaving no room for interpretation. It's like the law of gravity. You can yell at gravity, but if you jump off that cliff, you're going to fall. But if you want this, in this case, if you don't want to be spiraling out of control all the time, then I'm putting this kid into daycare, and you're going to work your half days or your full days or whatever, and you're going to be okay with it. See what I mean there? That's the difference. It's not how do you make her a good mom? How do you make her obedient? How do you get her to follow your lead? It's none of this good and evil shit. This isn't Castle Grayskull. You're not He-Man, and she is not Skeletor. Instead, it's solving the problems ahead of you. And that's all relationships are. There's a sexual connection between two people, which is what separates it from friendship. And there's a series of logistical problems. It's basically it. And the rest is like, I don't know, happies and brunch and talking about your feelings. So, hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to catch you guys on the next episode. We got a few more down the pipe, and they're going to get some intense ones here. I'll catch you guys later. Cheers.